Hi everybody, today we're going to be making this Origami Jet. Origami is an art form where you take a piece of paper and you fold it into a sculpture. You don't need scissors, you don't need glue, the folds are what hold it together. And we're going to be making this jet plane. Also, stay through to the end of the video so you can make sure you see what it looks like after we've colored and decorated it. So to finish this task today, you're going to need a piece of paper. And if you want to color and decorate it, you're also going to need something to color with. So go ahead and get your supplies and let's get started. All right, so the nice thing about this is that you can make it with a regular rectangle sheet of paper. It doesn't have to be a square piece of paper like most origami pieces are made out of. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my rectangle piece of paper and fold it in half. And since we're using a regular sheet of paper, it's also nice because it can be done with just a regular piece of notebook paper if that's what you have. I used to do these all the time when I was in elementary school, and we would just use regular pieces of paper and make these all the time. Also, it turns out to be a little bit easier to fold if you have a thin piece of paper, like a piece of printer paper or notebook paper. But thicker paper is okay too. You just have to make the creases really strong. So the next thing I'm gonna do, you see I just folded it in half, hot dog style. There's the hot dog. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this corner until it's even with this edge of the paper at the top, like that. And it makes a triangle here. Just try to make sure that these two edges are matching. Now all I want right there is the crease, so I'm gonna open it back up, and I'm gonna do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So now I'm gonna fold it so that these edges match at the bottom. And it's kind of easy because you have the line now. So the line matches the line. And then I open back up and you can see that I have this X right here. That's what I want. So I'm gonna make another X on the other side. Fold the corner up to the top. Make the edge meet. Try to keep it as even as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as even as possible. All right, I'm gonna open it back up. There's my line. And then I'm gonna do the bottom part. I'm gonna fold down to the bottom. Open it back up, and there is my other X. So I've got an X here, and an X here. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this paper over. So I'm gonna fold a line right through the center of this X. And the way I do that is I just make these two corners touch the two edges of the X, like that. And I do the same thing on the other side. Some people wonder why I flip the paper over to do the other fold. And the reason is because that fold, you want it to be bent in the opposite direction. So the X folds are going this way, and the straight line folds are going behind. And the reason that is important is because now I can use my thumbs and I can push the center of the X's, and they kind of pop out a little bit, or they kind of pop a little bit. And that's important because I'm going to do this. Watch carefully. I'm gonna take this triangle right here, and I'm just gonna push it, and I'm gonna make these two corners go in like they're meeting each other. They come together, and I push that down and made a little triangle there. On the other side, so I've got my triangle here. There's the triangle. I'm pushing it up. These 2 points are gonna come close to meet, and then I push that down. It's kind of tricky. It helps a lot if the creases are rubbed really tight so that the paper wants to fold in the direction that you want it to go. It's very helpful. So I always go back, and I make sure that my creases are nice and flat so that my paper is always staying where I want it to stay. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna tuck this bottom part. So right now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided shape, a hexagon. And we're gonna fold the bottom of this hexagon into the middle, But look what I'm doing. I'm gonna try to slide it underneath these 2 points. So I'm just slowly getting that in the middle, creasing it really tightly, and putting those triangles back down. Do it again on the other side. So I spun it around. I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna fold the bottom, or actually this is the top of the hexagon now if I hadn't spun it around. And I'm gonna slide that under the triangles. And so now I have an arrow that's pointing both directions, left and right. All right, the next fold, we're only gonna do to one side. And it's kind of like the fold you'd make if you were making a paper airplane. So I'm gonna fold this, and I kind of roll it a little, roll it. So I'm rolling this down to the middle. Remember, if it's hard and you get stuck and you need to give it a few tries, just pause the video and work on it a little bit till you figure it out. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm just gonna roll this to make a nice little point up here. Voila. So now, there's one last step that's required, and then there are a lot of modifications that you can make afterward. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to fold the bottom arrow up to the top, but not all the way to the top, because all the way to the top, that doesn't look much like a rocket ship or a jet or airplane. We're gonna fold it until these 2 corners, right here and right here, are just barely showing. So right about there, there's just a little bit of space there. Now I'm gonna crease that so that it kind of wants to stay that way. Now look, it popped up because we have to take these points that we folded before that, we have to tuck them in. That's what locks it in place. So I'm gonna stick that, if you're looking, we're gonna stick it right in between these 2 pieces. Then I'm gonna turn it over. Got my other point. I'm gonna stick it right in between these 2 pieces. And now it's locked together. I can throw it, I can flip it, and it's not gonna fall apart. Now, what was I saying about those modifications? So one thing that I used to do when I was little, first I would fold up the back, because I would usually draw like little rocket boosters back there. I would also fold up the tips of the wings like that. Sometimes we wanted to have big jets and sleeker, faster jets. And to do that, we would just fold these corners and tuck them under. So I just tuck those in, and now I've got a jet that's a lot pointier, so it makes it feel like it's faster. I'm gonna turn that back though. And then one of the last things we did, we had all these flying vehicles, and we decided, well, we need some vehicles on the ground to fight also. So what we would do is we would tuck the wings in to some of them, so they could be like, maybe they're boats or tanks or cars of some kind of ground vehicle, like that. So there's that. You can fold these down. And now it looks like it might be, a boat, like a speed boat that goes across the water. So you can do any kind of modifications you want to your vehicle. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is decorate and color them. And let's fix that wing. There it is. And here you have my jet plane. I went around and added lots of details, and I tried to keep it symmetrical, meaning everything I added on one side of the jet, I added to the other side of the jet. Because when you see an airplane, airplanes are symmetrical. Each wing looks the same, each engine looks the same, so I tried to match whatever I did on the left side with the right side. So I added stripes on one side, added them to the other. And I just kept adding more things until it felt like it was enough. I added a lot of stripes at the end, just because I felt like there were a lot of empty spaces that needed some kind of detail or decoration. And there it is. I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video and you want to try some other origami videos, look at the other two that I posted this week and give them a try. Hope you have fun. Bye.